text to
Wow.
Simon after the
Somebody
His dad's always
managed
working
arts
on
Yeah.
roundtable and
I know,
And
it was the
thanked
girl
him
that he
and
was like
he
obsessed
thought it
with.
went well, and
Cause I remember
he got back to me and
all
said he
about her
thought
when I
it
worked there,
was
and I was like,
great.
I know her.
So-
And then
Yeah,
later they
it's
walked
on
out
an
with a
agenda
kid, and I
item
was like,
discussion,
oh.
so.
Small, you
Yeah.
know,
Very
they
pleased.
just do.
Yeah,
I was actually
My memory of
wondering-
agencies like.
I was like, oh, I actually would have really liked doing that. I couldn't make it, but yes.
Whatever happened to that girl
Honestly,
that
I was
was
like,
there when
I
I
would
was
like to have
there?
done that.
She was kinda new too.
So I'm excited to hear about it.
Well,
So it
next
rained.
time.
Lots of-
Yes, yeah, I know, it sounds like
We were there
there's
just
other
early,
changes, but I,
yeah, she had a
yeah,
kid.
Yeah.
And she had that crazy ex that like, he was gonna go.
I know.
Yes.
Yes.
What's her name?
6:31.
We'll reconvene.
Oh my goodness, we're an hour late.
What time is it?
Oh, you're right. I didn't even
Meeting
look at
adjourned.
that.
Okay, we can all go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all here, so we might as well call the meeting to order at, it's not 4:30 as that clock, but it is 3:30. Okay, the meeting is called to order, and will you please do the roll call?
Absolutely. Chair Nathanson,
I am present.
Vice Chair Kiefer,
Present.
Committee Member Puentes,
Present.
Committee Member Peters,
Present.
and Committee Member Trejo Vasquez. Let the record reflect that all committee members are present.
Yay, thank you, Jack. Okay, nobody is participating remotely, and so we'll move on to item number 4, modifications to the agenda. Meredith, is there anything?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I do. We will be moving the West Ave mural, scheduled item 7.1 to be last on the agenda, to move that to a 7.5. So we will start with the Prince Memorial Greenway art maintenance and repairs.
Okay, thank you. I will make a note of that and try to remember.
And if not, I'll remind you.
Okay. I see nobody here from the public, which means there are no public comments, which means this may be a shorter meeting than the last one. We will move on to approval of the minutes. So the minutes of the September 8th, 2025 meeting were attached to the agenda and circulated to everybody. Did everybody get a chance to review them?
Yes.
Great. Are there any additions or corrections?
Not at this time now.
Great. Okay, the minutes are approved as submitted. Thank you all. Okay, we're on to scheduled items. We, as we know from a couple of minutes ago, 7.1 West Avenue mural, we will address that later in the meeting. We're moving on to 7.2 Prince Memorial Greenway art maintenance and repairs.
Great, thank you. As you know, Prince Memorial Greenway does get a good amount of graffiti. And right now there are some repairs that are needed, particularly the dragon mosaic has been damaged quite frequently due to fires. And many of the murals do need an anti-graffiti coating and a fresh coat of paint. So all of these are Art Start projects. So they went out and surveyed the area with some of their artists and put together a quote for the repairs of these. Ideally end of spring, beginning of summer to get this project completed. And their quote came back that was attached to the agenda of the estimated cost of $12,620. This fiscal year that was approved in the September meeting, we budgeted $15,000 for maintenance. So my recommendation today is to approve this cost to move forward in a contract with Art Start to repair Prince Memorial Greenway projects that are outlined here. And those also would include doing an anti-graffiti coating on the murals, which if those had been coated, that would have been a lot of them over 20 years old. So they do need a new fresh coat. looking at all of the repairs that are needed through our program of permanent art, this is where the majority of them do exist. So I think it would be really nice to dedicate this fund to this portion. And then we can start looking at the other items that do need repair as well in different areas of Santa Rosa.
Great, thank you. So if I understand this correctly, this is less than what we approved in the budget for the maintenance. And so that's a good thing to know. Are there any comments or questions?
Yes, I have a couple questions. Are all of these Santa Rosa City, for all of the murals, Santa Rosa City murals that originated from?
Yes, so they're all city-owned in our permanent collection. So in the contracts with artists, we first say that we're going to approach the artist for the maintenance or repair of their own artwork before we do it ourselves.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then repaint the underpass. What area, what is exactly are they talking about? Which area? And the underpass, are they talking about the road around it? Or, because I know there's painting on, there was a mural on the concrete ground too.
It would not be that mural.
Okay.
That's the one that was approved through a cab grant, I believe
Right.
you're speaking of at the
Yes.
Star. So there's an underpass underneath one of the freeways there, and I will have to come back and get exactly what mural
Okay.
that is.
I was trying to visualize where exactly that was.
I can get images maybe next time, then we could come back and discuss each
Okay.
item and what they like to do.
It'd be nice to have some photos
Okay.
and maybe placement on a map.
Okay,
That'd be
yeah, I can do that.
helpful. Does everybody know where this is? Is everybody familiar?
Yeah, and I ride my bike down there to look at all the stuff and see what's going on. So that's why I kind of wanted to be a little more specific to know what I'm looking
Yeah.
at and what improvements are going to be made. Because it definitely, there needs to be some repairs to some of them, and I hope it's the ones that I've seen. And it's unfortunate too, the dragon one has been damaged a few times before.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So,
seems
and
to be a target.
And I know they raised the face of the dragon because of the issues that they were having before. And I've known in the past for some people, when you have some people with some kind of mental illness, when you have a face facing you, and there seems to be some kind of target with each other.
And a lot of those tiles were actually coming off because of the fires that are happening underneath where it is. So it's actually melting the adhesive.
Oh, okay, wow.
So we did meet with Art Start and Friends of Prince Memorial Greenway that is assisting with this and trying to come up with some creative solutions on, we're repairing it now, and then what about in the next coming years,
Mhm.
right? So more of a sustainability discussion on this. That's why the anti-graffiti coating will be very helpful. That is on Joe Salinas' mural that he was fixing. So we've been cleaning graffiti off of that as that comes up. And so it's no longer a need of repair. So the hope with this is that we're repairing it, and then the dragon we will have to revisit on, is there a creative solution for that
Yeah.
piece specifically?
I love the mural.
Yeah.
And then I will come back with photos of these areas and locate on a map, and we could do some before photos possibly. And if Art Start would want to come and speak about the process or anything with you too.
Great.
Meredith, I have a question. Could you tell us a little bit about the funding that was approved for maintenance, that 15,000, what will happen with the delta? So the
2,000.
yeah, that amount of money, will that go back into our allocation for the following year, or would it go into a general
It's still in our public art funds, so those are more buckets that I'm allocating that stays within that fund. We may need to purchase anti-graffiti coating for another mural. We are looking at other areas that we need to clean up. There's a piece at City Hall that needs to be repainted and touched up. So we may actually end up using that for some other maintenance, and if not, it just goes back right into our public art fund.
Okay.
So when we're putting together those budgets, it's saying we're looking at most likely spending around this amount on some cleanup this year. I do think in the long run, we will want to look at contracting possibly with more of an arts maintenance contractor as we used to do in the past. But that is a pretty heavy cost too. So the Greenway, Prince Memorial Greenway is a very highlighted section that does need some attention. But we also need to look at the sustainability and putting in these improvements. How are we then sustaining it to be that way, you know, without more repairs needed?
And then follow up from my information, how was Art Start involved with the process to approve this project or to approve of these, I guess, task items?
This is actually from them.
Okay,
They put together the scope of work. So they walked the Greenway and they're letting us know what they saw and what needs to be repaired. So I was not in that walkthrough with them, but we did sit down and have a discussion with them and the Friends of the Greenway on the timeline of this project, and that it would be great to get done, you know, end of spring, beginning of summer, which is why we're bringing it to you now. So that way the contract does take some time, et cetera, to get this going. So
And the
this,
group-
this attachment's directly from them.
Yeah, and the group has experience and history with with this particular project. It goes back quite a few years, so I think we can trust them to bring us something that's realistic.
And it's their artwork that they're evaluating. So.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions or comments? I would entertain a motion to approve $12,620 for the Art Start Maintenance and Repairs project.
I will make a motion, but I have a question first.
Okay.
Meredith, could you tell us if there was any more detail in the scope of work proposed in terms of documenting before and after? I think that this would be a really good opportunity for information about public art maintenance, to give a bit more detail on the public art webpage about like this type of work specifically.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's very suggestive.
In our agreement to purchase artwork, there's an attachment that they have to give us how to maintain the artwork. So I can always have them complete that for all these murals. I mean, again, they'll have an anti-graffiti coating on them, so it will be the anti-graffiti wipes. But documenting the process would be really nice to do on our website on the importance of this. And it could be a good portion to involve some art ambassadors to get involved, cleaning up the Greenway and highlighting all the art on the Greenway. So maybe we bring this forward as another agenda item in the future to discuss that.
So I would like to propose bringing it
Okay.
forward as another agenda item in the
Mhm.
future for
Okay.
ongoing art ambassadors
Great,
from
I love
our
that.
committee to be involved, more involved with maintenance.
Okay, great.
Great suggestion.
And then I would like to put a motion on the table to approve the budgeted amount of $12,620 for Art Start maintenance and repairs of projects along the Prince Memorial Greenway.
Great, thank you. It has been moved. Is there a second?
I
Okay, and Nancy has seconded. Is there any additional discussion before we vote? Okay, very good. It has been moved and seconded to approve $12,620 for Art Start maintenance and repairs on Prince Memorial Greenway. Jeff, would you conduct a vote, please?
Absolutely. Chair Nathanson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer,
Aye.
Committee Member Puentes,
Aye.
Committee Member Peters,
Aye.
and Committee Member Trejo Vasquez. Let the record reflect that the motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you all. Okay, we're moving on to item 7.3, Arts Roundtable. Meredith and I were at the Santa Rosa Art Center a week ago Friday. And Meredith, we'd love to hear your report.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. We had our first kickoff of the Arts Roundtable on Friday, October 24th. Vice Chair Kiefer and Chair Nathanson were my volunteers to help me get this going. So thank you very much. They were very helpful brainstorming ideas on how to really get the community involved in a positive way, hearing feedback and bringing forth some action items that we can move forward and really start moving forward together with community, because as you can see here, we don't have many community members here during the day. And so we wanted to go to them to get that honest feedback about our program. And the goal is to keep this rotating between, we'll start with districts, and then it'll be open to discussion between you on what you feel would be most appropriate with this. So today I'll go through the slides of an overview, and then I'd love to get your feedback and Chair Nathanson and Vice Chair Kiefer on how you would like to see this moving forward. So we met at Santa Rosa Arts Center. I believe there was about 18 people in attendance, artists, mainly artists, some business owners, nonprofits, et cetera. The purpose was to explore creative opportunities, explore what the community identity is, and look at developing future programming. So we had a brief networking at the beginning, and then a round of introductions. We broke out into 2 breakout groups, and Chair Nathanson and Rachel Beer, admin analyst, facilitated these breakout groups, which had different questions. One was what the neighborhood identity was and about placemaking. One was about cultural priorities, and then ideas on collaboration and community engagement. We also printed out some larger dry erase maps of the area, which included Juilliard Park. So in the conversation there was Juilliard Park, South A Street, and we did discuss some of Prince Memorial Greenway as well, because it's located so close to that area and has such a great key art corridor, and also Santa Rosa Ave. At the end of the breakout groups, they presented 1 to 2 key themes or values they identified, 2 to 3 project or site ideas that they reference on the map, and then a couple action items or follow-ups that our team can then report back and start working together. And that was really important to do, because a lot of times, as you know, you'll leave these meetings and then it's just all on a piece of paper, but we want to be able to follow up with some action items. Some of the items for the neighborhood identity and strengths. One was that it's a cultural hub. They have it's a smaller area with a heavy concentration of artist studios. And they also have really great live performances at the Arts Center, Cafe Frida, Juilliard Park. They've got Winter Blast and Live at Juilliard. They have a strong historical character, distinctive architecture that defines the sofa as a creative pocket of the city. They are compact, walkable layout with alleys and back streets, and it adds to unique placemaking opportunities. And the community anchors were talked about a lot on the Luther Burbank Home and Gardens and Juilliard Park, and then also the school as well. And how can we really start to leverage that area as you walk through Juilliard Park, pulling in from sort of both angles. The key priorities were parking and accessibility, need for improved parking solutions, and better connection to downtown. So when you're downtown, you don't know that maybe South A Street exists, right? So how are we marketing and pulling those 2 together? Again, the visibility and branding. So developing more of a cohesive gateway and wayfinding system, whether it's monuments, pole banners, or signage, and more branding, Sofa Alice, the Arts District. More exhibit opportunities, encouraging art within those restaurants. Juilliard Park improvements were brought up about more of a public-private collaboration for amenities, restrooms, playgrounds, and more art installations there. And more advocacy and support from the city is needed to remove obstacles. And that was on the permitting side, and discussion from what I heard on temporary pop-up, whether it's buskers or temporary performances, is more of an ease of access to be able to do those items. Some ideas that they had were expanded art events to create a new major event. They have Live at Juilliard and Winter Blast, so one other larger event. Develop a sculpture garden at Juilliard Park. Explore the vacant spaces for more dedicated classrooms for art classes. Place public art in non-traditional locations such as cafes, alleyways, and reimagine vacant buildings. And really start to involve the students. So connect with the Luther Burbank School and ArtQuest students. For marketing promotion, they would like to highlight this more. And they noted that Winter Blast success highlights that there's just this opportunity for broader promotion of that area and the success of that. Need stronger marketing to hotels and visitors. Currently, I don't believe they actually have any type of marketing in a hotel to go to SOFA district. So when we were looking at the tourism base in hotels and what to do in Santa Rosa, it's probably more of a downtown instead of into the arts district. Partner stronger with Visit Santa Rosa and Sonoma County Tourism. Incentivize local businesses to display art, explore more facade improvement grants and temporary installations, and emphasize that SOFA has limited capacity but significant regional influence. So from those breakout groups, the ask was for action items. So what can I do from the city that we can start to follow up with them so that we could really start to, brand the SOFA district and really help those businesses and artists thrive there. One was to create poll banners, to create a poll banner map and potential call for banner art. So what was interesting is both groups, which had about 9, 8 in each, I would say, came back with very similar action items, which was really neat to see. One was to do poll banners directing people into the SOFA district because you have Santa Rosa Ave right there, and you could really direct people to art this way or whatever that looks like. If we did art on pole banners, that's a potential of utilizing the public art funds to do the pole banners of some type of a call for art. Identify vacant spaces that are suitable for art classrooms and creative use. To map some art locations and potential sculpture sites in Juilliard Park. Develop a list of local businesses and restaurants that could host art. And strengthen collaborations and partnerships with schools, nonprofits, and creative organizations. So today, as we move forward in discussion, and I'd love Vice Chair Kiefer and Chair Nathanson to give your feedback on this. The recommendation is to select 2 to 3 APPC members to serve on the Arts Roundtable Ad Hoc Committee. Before I had them as volunteers. The feedback so far from this first roundtable is they're very excited, and I've received very positive feedback, even with the feedback on what the city can do better. That's really exactly what I want, so I can learn and we could help thrive. So to put together more of a formal ad hoc committee for 2026, so we could bring this forward into other districts, and then also revisit and work on this for the SOFA district.
Great, thanks, Meredith. Because I was there, I can just let you know that that was a very complete report. A few things kind of stood out for me that weren't really in the report, just in terms of comments that people made in our groups. One individual is actually the organizer of Winter Blast, and her nonprofit organization is involved with putting on art events and exhibitions throughout the year. And it was very clear that she felt that there needs to be, it would really be helpful if there was more city collaboration and support for those kinds of events. It doesn't really exist at the level that it could. And so I think that's something for us to really look at. It's like, okay, what does city support and collaboration look like? And I was hearing that there really is a collaborative. The Winter Blast seems to me, having attended multiple years, that, oh, it's all these people come together and it just seems like this big community, neighborhood-wide collaborative effort. But it's really kind of like one person organizing everything. And so I think this was a good opportunity to learn that, you know what, there's some individuals who really can step up and take initiative. Simon Factor, and as director of the art center there, it's kind of been all his energy, and he admits he's not getting any younger. So I think this is just a great opportunity for us and for Meredith and her team to look at, okay, where's the need? How can we support these various organizations and individuals who've taken initiative and build upon it?
Sorry, just to note, we do provide funding through community promotions for many of these events for many years. So there is city support.
Right, and I know out there, Santa Rosa and you know, various efforts have really been useful over the years. And I didn't mean to suggest that didn't happen.
I don't know, but when, you know, with city support, there's 2 grant programs that these events do receive funding to host the events.
Thanks
Yeah.
for that
And that's pretty
clarification.
recent though, because I know before that these were going on, well, this is probably before the 2020,
Oh, okay.
when these were going
Mhm.
on, it was just a collaboration. And it is usually run by, I know before the coffee shop there used to put on the Winterfest too, and
Yeah.
I think it was James. And then, so you think,
So spring is really the
in spring, I guess it's taken over.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
ringleader currently.
ringleader.
Yeah, it's the Ringling Curry, yes.
I feel like there's
Because it
always
is.
one person that like.
Yeah,
leads
and
it.
I have volunteered a couple times for this, and it's the work that is put into getting this going. It's a lot, and it's a lot of people
Mhm.
spending a lot of time and effort and energy to all get this going. It's a wonderful event.
It's like
Yeah,
my favorite event.
It's-
Yeah,
in the
it's my
city
favorite event.
ever.
it's really
ever.
fun.
Like I do not miss it.
Yeah.
I like plan around going
Yes,
to it.
Well,
same here.
it's coming up very soon.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
November 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing and it is a lot of work. I am curious though, so, because I have also volunteered and I've been a part of it. I've helped decorate couches. I've done a lot of different things. I've been in it. So I'm curious what they want from the city, like obviously there's funding. Do they want help organizing it? Do they just want funding? I'm very curious what
Yeah.
they think the city
think
should be.
This
Doing-
I'm hoping that this Arts Roundtable was the opportunity to open a dialogue.
Okay.
And that's so that I think it was really smart, Meredith, that you asked for action items, because then now we have this list and it's like, well, what do we do about those actions? Well, we have to take some kind of action, right? And so it's going to be a process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing also, I found, it was really interesting thinking about the SOFA district as an arts district here in the city. And this idea, I was sort of pondering this as I left and in the subsequent days. So pole banners, a gateway signage, but it's not a neighborhood that has a lot of galleries or studios that are open regular hours. There's really the only gallery really is the Santa Rosa Art Center, and then there's Cafe Frida, which has art and it's open regular hours. But a lot of the studios, pretty much all the studios are private, and the Imaginists aren't really open except when they have production happening. So I think that would be also that's an opportunity for collaboration in talking with the neighborhood and with the artists in there. It's like, okay, if we really advertise that this is a place to go for art and culture, what's happening on a daily basis for visitors to the city? Or if we're just, residents in the city, oh, hey, let's go check out the arts district. I just fear that there's not a lot of there. except when there's an event or like a First Friday,
Friday.
like First
Yeah.
Friday's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point,
Yeah.
because there's amazing organizations, just like the Peace and Justice Center, the Imaginists,
Right,
there's,
right.
but like that tintype photographer, I'm there a lot. I spend a lot of time in South Bay, as I'm sure everybody does, but like, I'm there all the time at very different hours, and I've never seen that place open, basically.
I did once.
Yeah, and then like, you're right, the galleries, and then there's a lot of dark, empty storefronts
Mhm.
and other things, and it does make you, like,
Yeah.
when it's similar to downtown, which is its own thing, when there's a lot of dark and or closed storefronts, it's not welcoming, it's not inviting, it doesn't feel like community, it doesn't
Right.
make you wanna stay there, so I think that's a really good point.
But there is the opportunity to say, okay, we don't want it to look like it's dark and unwelcoming any longer. So what do we do about that? And there's some really good models around the country. We were in Miami not that long ago, and there's an arts district in Miami, and the artists in some of those studio buildings, they have open studio hours on a weekly basis, and they kind of rotate through so it's like any given day, you can go visit at least a few artist studios. And so that, that's the kind of thing, if we could get artists to say, okay, well, once a week, I'm gonna be open on a Wednesday afternoon or a Tuesday afternoon. And then you put a brochure and put it on the websites, like this is where when you can go and actually meet the artist. So,
Another
Anyway,
idea on top of that I've seen is a really neat solution for what to do with dark buildings and empty spaces was to utilize window frontages and to do temporary art installations in these windows. And so that would be a great way to activate the space as well. So some, I guess, discussion of programming, like something like that, with a program that is sponsored by, in part by the arts program with the city, that could be a neat, action item for, next, or I guess for thinking about future action items of what to do in different spaces.
and that actually would be really appropriate to our mission as the APPC. So, if the SOFA Arts District really became a public art viewing destination, it sort of is, but it's kind of hidden. Like you have to go down Art Alley to see all the murals, and but activating some of the storefronts, adding a sculpture garden aspect to Juilliard Park. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen where even if artist studios aren't open on a particular day, or there aren't a lot of galleries to go see, there would be a lot of public art to see. And I think that would be great.
I think that's
Yeah.
a really good way of doing it. I know there's a couple of storefronts down there that are like privately owned, and I don't think they're interested in selling or using them for anything. So, but maybe they would be open to like, can we just
Leasing the
use your
window.
window, like, between like 2 feet into your window area? Like, would you be willing to let us do that? Cause I know some people, there's a house that somebody lives in, and they used to run a cobbler shop, and I don't think they're interested in doing anything.
Sure.
But, and then the Avalo building across from is like,
So I think that
could be
these
amazing.
roundtable conversations are a good place to generate ideas of what might work in one space, and then kind of, snowball or like think about, okay, well, would this work in other spaces as well? So I'm real glad to hear that this first meeting was a success, the kickoff meeting was, and I would be interested to see what so the recommendation to select members for the Arts Roundtable Ad Hoc Committee, wanted to understand the scope of that ad hoc committee. Would they be reporting back to this group, and then doing the planning for these upcoming meetings? And then what sort of dialogue should this group, this body have with them?
Yeah, thank you. It would be, in a sense, very similar to how you volunteered to assist with the kickoff, but I wanted to formalize it now, determining where the next roundtable would be, and then assisting me with the follow-up of these projects, with the with the previous roundtable. So while we'll be doing the work behind the scenes in the city with the pole banner mapping, vacant spaces, I'll be bringing these ideas back to APPC as well. But it'd be really assisting with these next follow-up ones too, determining the next location, what worked, what didn't, on this one with the facilitating and the maps. And then again, facilitating that next round. I hope this for 2026, so we probably have 3 or 4 roundtables next year.
Great.
Thank you.
One thing I will add is, because I don't think it was really mentioned, everybody there was really engaged. There was energy in the room, and I thought that was really important to note, because the people who came probably had no idea what they were coming for, really. But once the introductions happened and we broke into those two subgroups, it was just energized, you know. And at least in my group, everybody spoke up. There was nobody sitting there looking bored at all. And so I think we've struck a chord with people, and that's really good. Okay.
And I would just like
yeah.
to say really quick, like 10 years ago, I did a lot of volunteering for the SOFA district. And what I found was one of the biggest issues that they even were talking about is the disconnect they had with the city. So when I see this and this connection and just this collaboration, and I read the action items and I read this, I was so pleased. I was so delighted to see this. This is wonderful. And I'm very excited to see what's next, because this is a huge step. And this is what I've been wanting to see 10 years ago. So this is great. Thank you, Meredith.
Better late
And
than
thank you,
never,
everybody.
right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
It's part of our strategic plan.
Yes, it's great.
Okay, we need a couple of people to volunteer for an ad hoc committee to plan the next roundtable and to help Meredith kind of lay things out. So volunteers, please raise your hand.
I'd be happy to help, but I don't have to if somebody else wants to.
Great. It looks like we have Kristen, Lauren, and Nancy.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So where I live, next, a street over, they're building the Roseland Library and the, what is it? The fire station?
Mhm.
I wonder, I mean, I haven't even looked at renderings or anything, but I wonder if that would be a place where we could potentially put up some art or anything like that.
As a separate art project.
Maybe, just because I know there's gonna be a library and I feel like a piece of art
Mhm.
in front of the
So,
library or something. would be
And that would be
nice.
a separate agenda item, but yes, I am working with the library on art.
Okay,
Great.
I know it's still a couple years out, but it would still be nice to know.
Meredith, just so you know, I've worked on multiple library projects in my career as a public art advisor. So I'm available if you, if you need. I'm just gonna put out a pitch for Roseland being the location for the next roundtable. I think it's a really important neighborhood to engage, and there's a lot of creative energy, a lot of art being made, mural projects and other things going on, opportunities, as you just mentioned, for new public art. So, and I had a conversation with council member Alvarez not too long ago, and he said, let me know when it's gonna be Roseland, because I want to help, which is great. So we have 3 volunteers to help Meredith as an ad hoc committee. So I would entertain a motion to appoint Kristen, Lauren, and Nancy as members of that ad hoc committee. Anybody want to make that motion? Come on, somebody. Please.
I can make a motion to have Kristen, Lauren and Nancy be, what were we gonna call her?
Members of the ad hoc.
Oh, yeah,
committee-
members of the ad hoc
Committee
Oh,
for
the
planning the
arts.
Arts Roundtable.
For the Arts Roundtable.
Great.
I
Thank
second.
you.
And second by
Okay.
Kristen. Okay, we have, it's been moved and seconded to form the ad hoc committee with Kristen, Lauren and Nancy for planning of the Arts Roundtables.
Thank you.
And any additional discussion before we vote? Okay, great. Jack?
Chair Nathanson.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer,
Aye.
Committee Member Fuentes,
Aye.
Committee Member Peters,
Aye.
and Committee Member Trejo Vasquez.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the motion passes unanimously.
Great. Thank you all. Meredith, I will attend meetings or help as needed. But it's really great. There's other people working on it.
You've been busy.
Okay, we're up to item 7.4 Earth Day.
Excuse me,
unless
sir,
we-
did we call for public comment during that item? Just because we have a member of the public
Oh,
here.
you know, we didn't, and we do have public in the room. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. Is there any public comment regarding the Arts Roundtable event that happened recently in the Sofa Arts District? No, there's no public comment. Thank you. And thank you for reminding me, Jack. I should have been thinking about it. Okay, we are up to item 7.4, but I do see that there's people in the room. Is this a time that we want to move to 7.1, Meredith?
Jack, did we remove agenda item we moved to the end?
The chair can move agenda items.
That would be, we would like to do that, Chair.
Okay, yeah, I recommend that we now move back to item 7.1, the West Avenue mural. And Meredith, will you please introduce our presenter and move into that item?
Yes, this is Anna Horka. She's the community engagement manager. She'll be reviewing the West Ave mural brought back from the last meeting with a revised design.
Nice to see you again. Thank you for
Nice to
being
see you.
here.
Thank you for moving me. Well, good afternoon, and I am the Community Engagement Manager, City of Santa Rosa. And I'm here in front of you bringing back the second mural. The first one was approved. The second one, you have some revisions. So the two murals were approved for funding by the Community Advisory Board in May 2025. But that was pending your board approval, your committee approval. So now we're bringing back the second one. Let me see, what is the second
On the bottom of the attachment.
one? Requested that it reflected the community a little bit more. So the artists and the community members submitted, these are the locations for the two murals. The purpose of the mural is to cover some graffiti. Their fences were tagged by graffiti, and they're trying to discourage, the recurrence of graffiti. So they're hoping that the murals will do that. Let's see. So here is the revised. Can I flip this? I think it can be flipped somehow. Let me see. Trying to find.
I'll try to get in there. It's the web. No, it just killed it entirely.
Different agenda.
Yeah, you go to the, yeah, the thumbnail images, you can switch them. Yeah, other.
We're doing West Avenue.
Yes,
Yes, that's right.
so the
Going down.
bottom. Bottom one, that one.
Okay,
So
we'll
there
take
it
this,
is.
and we want to rotate.
Yes.
Hey, good job.
Thank you. So here is the revise. Remember, there was a track with veneers. So this is how their proposed revision of the mural that they have submitted, pre-submitted.
Okay. Okay, any other information? Do you have any other information to present or?
No,
this is-
when I talked to them about the revisions, they did feel strongly about the veneers and the farming aspect of it. So I said that's, that we absolutely respect that you respect that.
Mhm.
But they were hoping the committee was hoping for something that will inspire the community, that would be representative of the community. And this is what they came up with.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. Also, thank you for coming, the whole process, the effort to revise the design. Okay, questions or comments from committee members?
I have
Yes,
a
Nancy.
question.
Yes.
Is it going to be like the yellow and the white, or is that
No,
just
I
the color
think
of
if
the
they
fence right
put
now?
it black and white, they're hoping to do it in color. I think there must be some kind of mistake when they submitted the image.
Oh, okay.
Again, technology and access to technology has been an issue for these grantees. We have offered support. They
See
haven't
it.
specifically asked for our support, but I think that this could be part of the issue, that maybe access to technology or some issues with the programs.
Okay, so this is really a concept presentation, but it will be implemented in color in.
That's what I've
Okay.
understood. Yes.
Okay, yeah, good question. Okay, other comments or questions? Okay, great.
Well, actually, I have a
Oh, yeah.
question. So there, to get access to technology and stuff, how is this? So this is gonna be a photo and how is this going to be done on this fence like this? I mean, is it gonna?
Painted?
Yes.
Mhm.
But it's almost lifelike, so that's why I'm just wondering how are they gonna make this exact?
So
Replica.
I guess that your question has to do with the process of transferring the image.
Exactly.
Scaling it
Thank
up.
you.
So do you know, is the artist planning to grid out the fence and then systematically?
They haven't given me the
reproduce it?
details.
Okay.
I asked for details, they sent me the picture and they said this is their concept, so I can ask for, I'm not an artist, I don't know
Yeah.
what the process would be for something like this, so that's why I also wasn't certain about what to ask.
So the intention, though, is to reproduce what has been created photographically and then scale it up to the fence and paint it.
Correct, yes.
I did look at the artist's website. They do some pretty great work on tattoo artists,
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
So I would imagine that it could actually become very similar to what we're looking at the designs, but.
Yeah, and I know that there are varying techniques for getting an image up to a larger scale for a mural.
Community
think-
members will be volunteering to paint the murals, so in addition, I don't think it will be exactly like that.
So it sounds to me, everybody like will be asked to approve a concept. as opposed to a rendering or maquette, which now, you know, we asked for a revision because we didn't think that truck was representative of the community, but I guess the real question I have is, do we feel like this addresses what our concerns were at that last meeting?
Well, I think given what Anna said about how they feel strongly about the use of the fields.
Mhm.
The last image also had the fields, but we were more worried about the trucks.
Yeah.
So I think they did what we suggested.
And it still has the
Yes.
rows and now they've added the word inspire.
And
It's kind of
Yeah, to
nice.
two
kids.
children walking
Yeah,
on the sidewalk between the vineyards.
yeah.
Which is
Okay,
great. I like that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm wondering if it would be useful for our committee to say, you know, a preference for color palette or what we would like to see in terms of this design and just pulling forward of the imagery that I was hoping to see last time. I do like the incorporation of the large rows. I think that that's a beautiful way of, you know, representing a lot with a single image. So I think that that is a great addition to this. I would like to see vibrant colors in this piece. One of my favorite things about going to certain areas of Roseland is how colorful it is. And so I would want this mural to be a very vibrant addition to this corner. And so I would encourage very bright colors in the rows of the vineyard. I guess to make sure that there's, if it's supposed to be during the harvest time, that there be grapes on the vines. That would be a good way to add some color to this piece. And I'm happy to see these revisions coming forward to our committee today. But I do want to make sure that this piece is something that it is exciting for the community members there, and that this isn't a drawn out exercise of us going back and forth about a design, but to say that what we would like to see in a mural here, and I would like vibrant colors.
Right, so you want a full color version of this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, any other comments or questions before we go to public comments? Okay, great, thank you all. Any public comments on this particular agenda item? No, okay, thank you. Okay, then we are on to the need for a motion in order to approve this design to move forward. So is there anybody who would like to make a motion to approve the revised design for the West Avenue mural project? Okay, it has been moved by Nancy Trejo Vasquez to approve the revised design for the West Avenue mural. Do I hear a second?
I will second with addition of my comments of color.
Okay, Vice Chair Kiefer has seconded. I'm not sure technically you can,
Oh, add that on.
Add that
as a
on.
Second.
it would have to be added, it would have to be a revision to the motion, I believe.
And
You could make a friendly amendment to the motion and then the original motioner can accept that.
And just to note that there is a cost associated with going to color and that they were approved for a certain amount of funds for 2 murals. So I'm not sure if the cost will be a barrier to them of adding in colors, multiple colors of paints to this. So it could also be a recommendation, not a requirement. Possibly, it's up to you. but-
Mhm.
I will add a friendly amendment to recommend the use of color, but don't want it to be prohibitive to this project getting done.
Nancy, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, so it has been moved and seconded to approve the revised design for the West Avenue mural with a recommendation for it being produced in color. Okay, any discussion before we vote? Okay, Jack, it's time to vote.
Alrighty, Chair Nathanson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer,
Aye.
Committee Member Puentes,
Aye.
Committee Member Peters,
Aye.
and Committee Member Trejo Vasquez.
Aye.
Excellent. Let the record reflect that the motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you all, and thank you very much for coming back and presenting. I think it's gonna look great.
Thank you. I'll make sure that to let them know about the recommendation.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Okay, we're going back into sequence on the agenda. We are at item number 7.4. Oh, now I can read it. Thursday, 2026. Meredith.
Thank you. I was approached by the water team that facilitates and organizes Earth Day on if we would like to participate again. If you recall, last year we did 4 installations. There were 3 sculptures and 1 augmented reality. We started with a project budget of about 15,000. We did end up increasing that project budget because of some of the submissions that we wanted to show more, do an additional 10,000 to make that 25,000. Some submissions fell through. At the end, we ended up having an overall project budget and spending about 15,000 on the Earth Day installations. We had them up for the month of April, and it was a quick turnaround. We did not do an opening or closing of the show. It was up for Earth Day and then for people to go out into Courthouse Square and see, scan the QR code, learn about the artists. So today I wanted to open it up for discussion if that's something we would like to do again. If so, I would put together a project plan and bring that back to you in December, as we would need to open a call for art, if that's the route we choose to go, in December to have an install by April. So I'd open that for you for discussion.
Great, thanks, Meredith. Okay, Earth Day. Do we want to do it?
I have a quick question. I wasn't, obviously, this is my second meeting. I wasn't really a part of it. I vaguely remember the sculptures, so I apologize. I don't remember them exactly. My one question, I think, would be, and this will always be my one question, is what was the impact, like the ROI on that money? I'm not sure how much that is out of a budget. Is that a good use of those funds, or is there another way to make an impact?
And that's a great discussion of how I was hoping this would go too, is that we have next year, looking at the projects coming up, there's the Christo exhibit at the museum that we're talking to them about partnering and doing some type of larger scale art installation, Courthouse Square. The 15,000 isn't, we have about 175 we can spend on projects. Now we have the art walk and we have some marketing and other initiatives as we're looking at Roseland, pole banners, sort of outside of Courthouse Square. It's very hard to, being in April, I also manage special events. So how much can I take on for these projects and the effort can I put into marketing? It gets very limited around April because we have the National Arts Program and other initiatives that are going on. So I would also lean on you, the APPC, on if we did take this on to assist with some marketing efforts. We did not do an artist's meet and greet or any targeted marketing for the event specifically of Earth Day. So it was more a show for the community. I think that there's some really great artwork out there that could be displayed, but again, where do our efforts want to go next year when we're looking at these different districts and roundtables and the art deserts that we have as well. So I'd be happy to take on Earth Day if it's something the community decides we did want to do again. We could also always open a call and see what we get.
Okay, thanks. I think this is one of those opportunities that if we put art in Courthouse Square or some other location, I guess it might be something to consider. But that helps aesthetically energize the city. You know, I think the longer we go without having special public art projects on view in some very public locations like Courthouse Square or Railroad Square, then I feel like the city is just, it's not as vibrant as it is otherwise. I think the more that we can put public art, even temporary projects on view, it helps the quality of life. It makes Santa Rosa a more wonderful location in which to live and work and to visit. And so I think I love your question. It's like, well, what is the return on investment? I don't know if we can actually quantify that, but my impression was, as I was going around and seeing sculpture in Courthouse Square, it's like, you know what? This is cool. I'm so glad that our city does things like this.
And yeah, and just to clarify, it's not that I don't think we should do it. I just come from a world, as you did too, where there's
Mhm.
finite resources and time.
Mhm.
There just isn't enough. And so you have to look at the nuts and bolts
Right.
of like, well, at what cost? What's the cost of us doing this versus doing something else? And what's the weight and the balance and the impact? So that's where I was coming from. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but I will always approach something from that idea of, well, what else could we do in a place that Courthouse Square has a lot of art? Maybe there's an art desert where that money could go further or engage or
And it would
activate
take my
experience.
time away from other projects. So
Right.
if we're focusing on this, then we wouldn't be able to focus possibly on the pole banners, or, I mean, maybe I could, but that is a lot. to
Well,
take
let-
on.
Let's ask ourselves this question. So Earth Day addresses something that I think the majority of us recognize, which is the need to pay attention to the environment and climate change and some issues that have become real political hot potatoes. And so personally, I think celebrating Earth Day, having some kind of representation of our, let's say, our recognition that we need to help our planet. I think that's a good thing. But I also know that our committee and this process, we probably don't want to get embroiled in politics. So would we rather have some public art, have some kind of project happen that, because Meredith, more than money, I think it's Meredith and her time. right?
Absolutely, yeah.
There's like,
That's the
um,
same. I mean,
Yeah.
money and
yeah,
time is
so-
the same.
So a
it's all the
finite,
same.
finite amount of money, finite amount of hours.
Mhm.
So, I think the desire on my part is I'd like to see more art on display. And I think pole banners are good. I think art is better, but I guess, that also goes to your question, Lauren. It's like, okay, how much impact are we having for the effort and for the expense? Are pole banners better, or is it better to do an Earth Day project? Or what are the other choices?
And we could always do a community activity with art as well, so it doesn't have to be specifically an install. We do have the art walk, the 9 sculptures that were just installed, that we'll be reviewing in the department reports, but and there's 2 in Courthouse Square. So it could be a call for an art, a nonprofit to do an arts activity on Earth Day. And then I am working on an arts and sustainability guide for us that I'll be bringing forward probably sometime in December as a draft. on how to encourage and work with galleries and artists on, lower your water usage. What do you do with where do you drop off the oil paints, et cetera. So those could be some items that we could bring forth with Earth Day. So while I completely agree, it's important that we acknowledge it and do our part of the impact. What does that look like for the month of April from our committee?
So it would be far less effort to do an Earth Day event with maybe,
Well, would it be a collaboration? Because how many events are actually going on for
Yes.
Earth Day? So it'd be more or less a collaboration, whatever effort and time.
It's the Earth Day event with
Yeah.
water. So it's in Courthouse Square, and it's a Saturday. And that's when, there's a good amount of people down there with different activities. So it could be it would be an activity in partnership with that instead of doing a month of sculptures.
mhm.
Again, I'm happy to open up a call for art, and I could bring this back if you want some time to think about it, bring it back in December with an idea of a project plan. We would have to open the call in December in order to get a contract going with any artists that would be doing a sculptural piece of some sort for April.
Okay, so what do people think? Should we ask Meredith to come back with a proposal to do sculpture installation for Earth Day? What I'm hearing is that the choice is participate on the day somehow, maybe collaborating with a nonprofit that can do a hands-on art activity or something of that nature. I guess we could put the pop-up out there and make sure that the APPC has a presence as a sponsor or collaborator. Or do we really want to see some kind of public art project, temporary project in Courthouse Square that would require an RFP and that whole process?
And sorry, just to elaborate a little further on the first option, I see this being a potential partnership with a group like the Santa Rosa Urban Arts Partnership.
Mhm.
That could be an effective arm of someone that would be able to do that community involvement, but then with support from our committee. That's somewhat of an idea of how I see that going. Sorry,
Mhm.
just to give that a little bit more body to it.
Okay.
I like the idea of doing a collaboration with a partner, like a partnership. So I would like to have a further conversation about how that looks and how we do organize either grant or setting up a private public partnership like that. What would that look like? That would be something that I would be curious to see as a future agenda item, having had a few conversations with folks about, hey, how do I work with your team to put on an event specifically? That's what I'm curious in. I know there have been several very effective ways that we've involved ourselves with Earth Day. But I'm very excited about the art walk that we have coming or installed currently, and I would like to know what our timeline is with that before making any decisions about new programming to go in spaces.
Well, that's on view for 2 years, right?
Mhm.
And that's a really good point. There's 2 sculptures in Courthouse Square
Mhm.
right now because of the art walk.
And one of them is recycled bicycles.
Yeah.
You know,
Day.
yeah, that's actually a really good point. Why don't
Exactly it.
why don't we highlight that work and then basically focus on having a presence at Earth Day with a partner who can do some kind of interactive project related to the event.
I think
What I'll do, as this was a discussion item, I'll bring this back in December with an overview of what we would still want to probably go to RFP for a nonprofit partner to do an activity to make it a fair process. If we chose to go that route. And then we could work together. I could bring the draft of the arts and sustainability guide that I'm working on with the water department, and the climate commission will want to be reviewing that. And that way, that gives us until April to start putting together our plan as a commission
what is our role and impact with Earth Day, and also just the longevity of that too, of like, how are we planning our projects that are sustainable with different materials, which I think would be good.
And also I see it being an opportunity to highlight maybe some projects we've done previously. I really liked being part of the Creeks to Street program where we approved and provided funding for fish to be installed around storm drains around town. So just pointing out that there have been very conscious programs in order to make these linkages, and that things change, and so we want to be nimble with that and how to be providers for, future programming.
And possibly we do the activity too. We can do an ad hoc committee of to do some type of arts activities together with the community for it. So I'll bring it back.
Worked at the Children's Museum for 7 years.
There you go.
I've got 10 activities that we do already.
I love
Then we
that.
don't even have to, why don't we just partner with the Children's Museum?
I don't know, I don't know if they do that. I'm not there anymore, so I can't speak for them, but
They're signed up.
I did, oh, good, then they're already gonna do it, oh my gosh,
Great.
then, yeah.
We work with them,
Casey's
so.
starting-
Okay. I will bring this back in December. And I'll bring this feedback back to the Earth Day Committee as well, that we would like to participate. We'd like to have a booth. We'd like to highlight our programs and do an activity.
Mhm.
And that will continue that discussion.
Okay,
Great.
great. Even though this was not an action item, we do have an opportunity for public comment. Any public comment? No. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next agenda item. This is 7.5, the Public Art Toolkit.
Great, thank you. All right, so at the last meeting, I believe, we were reviewing the strategic plan and action items, and it was brought up to revisit the toolkit. This has been brought up a couple times that we've reviewed what would the action items be to put together a toolkit. So to revisit it, I put together an outline of everything that we have, from our strategic plan to our master plan, our public art policy, public art and private development, and different guidelines and forms. This last year, we moved from doing the mural guidelines to the public art proposal form online. And so the discussion today would be how to move forward with the toolkit. Personally, sometimes I struggle with the idea of a toolkit because how do you present that to community members, and then what is the use of it? And I know in other cities, even where I sit as the vice chair for the city of Sonoma, we've discussed the toolkit, and it comes up in our meetings, and we still struggle with the idea of what is its use. A lot of counties end up having toolkits of resources, like Creative Sonoma is altogether a great toolkit for artists, right? You can submit your artist's resume and what you do. You can research artists. You could research organizations. With cities, that's difficult because it's also a constant upkeep of all the different nonprofits and resources. You can't just recommend one, you want to recommend all, right? So today I'd like for us to review these items, and then up for discussion also is what we're working on. We have the art mapping project that we're currently working on, and that will have all of the permanent art collection. And then there'll be different tabs on that for public art and private development. I see it as a Roseland murals, possibly murals in Sofa District, and taking different historic walks. So that's a long-term project, but we're first starting off with the permanent art collection. If there are different types of resources that we do want to give the community, what would those be? A flow chart we've discussed on how to, which is it's the public art proposal form. So if you're going to do temporary, permanent, or have an idea, you're going to complete that public art proposal form. One item was also design guidelines. Is there any design guidelines that we want to make sure people adhere by? So flags, profanity, nudity, But then there's, you know, there's nudity in the sculpture right outside of City Hall with Daphne. So, you know, we want to look at what are those guidelines that we're looking at. I know Caltrans actually has some very good design guidelines that they have you follow, and any other items that you think that we should start diving into, and what your feedback on is how do you envision this toolkit for community members, as it is part of our strategic plan. And it keeps sort of getting put aside a bit because I think we're still, and I still get unsure on what does this look like for community members? Or is it just a combination of all of these documents, right, that we have? I open that for you for discussion.
Thanks. It just so happens that a week ago Saturday, I was on a public art panel in Emeryville. And I was actually asked to be on the panel as the interim director of the Richmond Arts Center. But when I got there, I said, I'm actually representing Santa Rosa as chair of the APPC. And they had public art managers from Oakland, San Jose. They actually had the arts and culture director of Richmond, who sadly just passed away a few days ago unexpectedly. But anyway, it was a really good broad representation of public art programs from around the Bay Area. And a lot of the discussion had to do with what are the resources that are available to artists and to the public about the process, about the philosophy, about the physical location of public art. In fact, I grabbed a whole bunch of the fairly new Emeryville public art map.
Oh,
So, you know, I can hand those out. And then I've got one for you and Jack. I'll give you when I'm heading out. Anyway, it's really good to see what other cities have. One thing that I might suggest that instead of using the term toolkit, which I think I share the slight confusion that maybe you're expressing, Meredith. It's like, well, what is a toolkit and who's it for and how do you use it? Maybe we need a different term, like a how-to guide for public art, or a resource guide, or just think about the way we frame what this information is. Because to me, the real goal here is accessibility to information that lets you know how to navigate the system, right? Because I think the content is pretty good. Actually, very good. Anyway, those are my brief comments. Anybody else? Yeah.
I agree with Jeff. Just thinking about the word toolkit, oftentimes I like to think about just like having like a mental toolkit where I think about like my actual physical like wrench and okay, this is useful in this application and that. So I think it's a playful imagery, but in this context, informational documents or informational guides might be more true to what this is. So we're not asking them to, you know, be the mechanic. We want them to feel equipped with the resources of what we do. So I think that's maybe changing the name of it, because
Really, the red type at the bottom in some ways is more, I think that's more descriptive of what we're looking at than the title at the top. Art map, resources, flow chart.
Those are items that we're can work on that we don't currently have. Right now on our website, and I'll have to check if it's all there, but under program documents, we just list all of the program documents on the arts page. So people have access to all of those.
Yeah. One thing I will mention, there were a couple of comments from various people about Santa Rosa's public art program, and one of the other panelists, who was actually an artist, not an arts manager, said, you know, Santa Rosa, it really has its information well organized. It's fairly easy to navigate the system. So I think there's already recognition that we have our ducks in a row, and people appreciate that. I think it'd be really interesting to really compare San Jose and Oakland and us and even San Francisco, just, you know, look at some of the bigger cities and just see, well, is there something we can appropriate from what they did? Or do we already have something that is actually superior to what they have?
Yeah, and
Good.
we're always looking at keeping our website updated.
Mhm.
I do the majority of the updates, but then I work with our communications team as well on whether it's redoing the left-hand menu bar or, you know, different quick links, but ensuring that all the documents are right there and then just current information.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think about finding a different term than toolkit?
You know, that's just for this slide and it's from the strategic plan.
Yeah.
So right now on our website, it's program documents, which isn't that sexy.
Change things in the
but
strategic plan.
yes.
It is,
So I just want to make sure that moving forward that, you know, even the design guidelines, is that something that we want to be brought back? Because I do think it's important as we're, design guidelines are a lot of times in the RFP itself. But is there an overall design guidelines that we always want to ensure that we're also following, such as, you know, no flags, no profanity? Sometimes that we feel is a given, but it's also really good just to have it on paper that these are our design guidelines.
I don't think it hurts unless it does. Like, I don't, you know, like, if there's a reason that it shouldn't be stated, but if it's already, if it's happening, like, if you know that and you're following those guidelines anyway, you might as well make it public. I don't know, but.
Yeah, I think there are some guidelines that are consistent through every project. And there might be specificity depending on what the project is and its location or other factors. But those guideline items that are consistent through every project, I think it would be helpful to say, these are the basic guidelines that people should know. I do wonder also in the current political climate, if artists are going to be looking at opportunities for public art proposals. There are some places where you can actually go in and, for example, if we were following the current administration in the White House about what art should be about or include, we probably never would have done the Unum sculpture or other assorted projects. So I do know that some cities that declare themselves sanctuary cities or have statements that that communicate their philosophy about their community or whatever. That could be really useful when we're putting out a public art opportunity to artists, so they can see it's like what's considered appropriate and.
Santa Rosa refused to declare themselves a sanctuary city, though.
That's why I said some cities. And so, you know, I think because we are overseeing art in the public realm, we have to be conscious of what is acceptable and what isn't. I mean, if it were up to me, it'd be like, we want every artwork in the city to be a statement about social justice or the environment or something important. but I mean, that's not gonna happen. But I'm just saying, it's like, it's probably on the minds of a lot of artists who are looking at opportunities and say, well, what are you really looking for?
Mhm.
And where's the line that I'm not supposed to cross?
And again, these would have to be very, because of freedom of speech, et cetera. But when you're looking at art on public property, on city property, again, we would look at no profanity or something that we just know would not be appropriate. But we really couldn't go into details on other things because also times change, et cetera. But again, freedom of speech, we want to encourage all different views and voices. So keeping that door open,
Right.
but just knowing that there are certain boundaries. And that's, I know how Caltrans has their guidelines. So it is something we can start reviewing. It's not saying that it's going to, maybe we'll move forward, maybe we won't, but I'll start reviewing other cities on what their guidelines are as well.
Yeah,
I'm for that for us.
that'd be great.
Mhm.
I know we were talking about like art maps. I wondered if we ever get to the point of printing out little art maps, they could be in Spanish or other languages, because I was just at the Met and they had all the little thingies, but they were like in Mandarin, French, Spanish, like just to be inclusive to all the different languages. And I know we have a huge Hispanic community, and I feel like if we just printed them in English, then that would take away from people enjoying the art in their language.
Yeah, we're working on the permanent art map. And then ideally we get that printed and then we have the temporary art walk map where we have it in English and we're working on the Spanish translation. So that should be in a week or so for the art walk map. But yes, in the long run, I agree, having something that people could pick up at the Welcome Center that has our full collection and it would be great in different languages.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you brought that up.
Also, sorry, the GIS map is available in all different languages too. So the online map will be already.
That's great. Thank you. One thing I should mention, I didn't know this until it was in Emeryville and working on, both the public art project last week, but also I was a curator for the annual juried exhibition. And they're referring to themselves as Rotten City, kind of playfully, but apparently somebody made a comment way back during the days of the Wild West or something like that. Oh, Emeryville, that rotten city, it was known for prostitution and drinking and drugs and all kinds of illicit activities. So it's kind of interesting. The city has, in a way, sort of embraced that, that reputation. Anyway, I think this is really good that we're moving this forward. So thank you. Okay, any public comment regarding the toolkit that we're talking about? Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, we are on to department reports.
Yes, thank you. Couple updates for you that are exciting. As mentioned, the art walk has now all been installed. So we have 9 new artworks installed for downtown Railroad Square and at the museum. So you can go take a walk. We've got the art walk maps are available at the Welcome Center. There's some up here at the front or at Economic Development. And we will be passing those out to downtown businesses, hotels, et cetera. And as mentioned, we're getting this printed in Spanish as well soon. That's been really exciting project to work on. That's installed for 2 years. So I will be bringing that item back most likely in December to discuss an outreach plan with schools, museums, et cetera. I'd really love to get the kids involved and the teachers to give them something to do next summer too, and discuss maybe doing, leading some art walk tours ourselves. That's exciting. You can also find the online map on our website as well, read about the artists. The National Arts Program 23rd Annual Exhibit to register that opened today. So you can go log in online and register
if you would like to show. So that is open to all residents, any employees and any family members of employees. Last year, I believe we had around 150, possibly more show. And this is at the Finley Center. So the registration is open until register online. Deadline is January 15th. So couple months. And then the art show is from February 9th through April 24th. And it's all ages, all abilities. Prizes are given away. I'll be coming back and seeing if one of you would like to also be a judge. So it's super fun. I would love to get more kids involved this year. We did not have that many participate last year. So you can go on our website and learn more about it. I also have some of these at the front here. You're welcome to take. So that's really exciting. And you can also participate yourself if you have an art piece.
I will just interject that I was a judge last year and it was great. And although we wished that there were more children and youth involved in the show, those who submitted works, I thought the overall quality was excellent. So it was clearly the more and most talented our community were submitting. Anyway, if one of you would like to judge this year, I highly recommend it. It's a great experience.
And yes, and Lori Bowden, who won first place in professional last year, is actually in the art walk. So her piece is in Jeju Way. So it's sort of a neat overlap of getting to know her, giving her the call for art, and being selected for that as well. Colgan Creek mural, those proposals for the RFP were due today. And we're looking at getting that selection panel together the week of the 17th, most likely on the 17th to review. So expect that back here in December for the selection panel's recommendation to move forward with that. The Brookwood mural, that contract is still in the process of being signed. And with the winter weather coming, I'm not sure if that will get installed by the end of the year. It may possibly be something in spring with Art Start for that. And I don't think I can read my other notes here. So I don't know what I wrote. So thank you. We've had a really, it's sort of towards the end of the year and it's been a really great year. So I'm looking forward to things moving forward. Yeah.
Thanks, Meredith.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Committee member reports. Anybody on the committee have anything to share?
I
Kristen?
just want to give another shout out for the Winter Blast Parade, which will be on November 15th. I will be going to a planning meeting for that later this evening, so I'll bring back to our committee anything else new about any new information. But I hope to see you guys all there. There are still volunteer opportunities. I'm going to be helping out with the sketchbook club station, so leading drawing and arts activities there.
Cool.
For a few hours, but also have fun. We did recently have 2 lantern making workshops for it. So if anyone is interested and wants to make a lantern, get in touch with me. I'll help you get materials for it. Also, I would love to take some more of those art maps for distributing the art walk maps to distribute to my colleagues with Winter Blast.
Great,
And,
thanks.
Yes, just keep in the know or just keep reading about what events are happening. Now that the nights are getting longer, there's more opportunities to have creative fun with our neighbors.
You mean fun after dark?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just invite all of you, if you're interested, on November 14th, which is Friday. A couple of Fridays from now. November 14th, I'll be leading a curator tour of the Paradise Ridge sculpture exhibition up at Paradise Ridge Winery. It starts at 4 o'clock. And then that'll be followed by a slide presentation by Sonoma State art historian Linda Reed, who has put together a really wonderful presentation about Walter Bick, his vision for Paradise Ridge and the whole history of how Paradise Ridge became a fantastic destination for outdoor art. Actually, if you're interested in going to that, please email me because I understand there's an RSVP list and it's almost, it's free, but it's almost filled. It's, limited seating, so. Anyway, that's on November 14th, day before Winter Blast. Okay, any other committee reports? Yeah.
Northern Lights, the art walk, the lighted art walk that we do at the LBC, it's in its 4th year. We're installing it now. And it opens on November 20th and it's open for 2 months. So it'll be 2 months, but please come and see it.
Great. Yeah, and the new sculpture exhibit's really nice.
Yes,
That's
and
great.
thank you. Yes, you went to the opening.
I was at
I
the-
should be saying this.
I was at the opening.
But you were at the opening. Yes, we just opened a new sculpture garden exhibit and we also have a new sculpture courtyard, newer. It's been about a year, but anyway, a lot of stuff happening in our arts programming at the LBC.
Great.
Like, come check it out.
Okay, any other reports or announcements? Okay, we are then through the agenda and we can wrap it up. The next regular meeting is
December 1st.
Art and Public Places Committee will meet on Monday, December 1st. And with that, thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned.
Alrighty.
Only 5 minutes left.